Hello everyone, welcome back to Luke's TV Talk, going over some of the most recent TV episodes I've been watching. For this video, I'll be looking at The Rings of Power, Episode 6. Just before I get into that, I uploaded a review for Jujutsu Kaisen 0, the new movie that came out on streaming recently, and also She-Hulk Episode 7, so if you're interested, go give them a watch. And also make sure to like, subscribe to keep up to date with all future uploads. Okay, so let's get into the plot of The Rings of Power, Episode 6. Adar rallies the orcs, and they march into the Watchtower. However, Arondir and his group have trapped them in and dropped the watchtower on the orcs while they return to the village. The villagers prepare the village and fortify for another attack while Arondir hides the blade. Arondir and Bronwyn promise to stay together after the battle. See, at this moment in the episode, I thought, oh no, this is big death flags for Bronwyn, and Arondir is going to become all battle hardened because his love's killed and stuff, and I thought that might happen, but it didn't go exactly as I thought it would, so that's always a good thing. When night falls, the orc forces enter the village, but they walk into a trap and are picked off and killed by the villagers. Arondir had a difficult fight with a huge orc, so while everyone's fighting in the main street area, Arondir was up on a tower but gets pulled off, and this gigantic orc basically flings him around. He's beating him up, chucking him against posts, and then eventually Arondir hits him in the eye with I think it's a bit of wood. And then he almost gets Arondir in the eye with that bit of wood, but he gets saved. So that was an intense fight for our elf warrior. It's then revealed the orc forces were mostly the human followers, and the orcs attack from the forest. The villagers bunker down in the bar. Bronwyn almost dies. So basically what happens, they all get ambushed, they get shot with arrows, and Bronwyn gets hit a couple of times, and they have to try and pull the arrows out and cauterize the wound, and it looks like she's going to die, but she just about wakes up after passing out. So she's in a precarious position right now, she's very weak. The Numenor forces make landfall and ride inland. It's this really cool shot with a load of horse riders riding down a huge grassland, and they're obviously going to go inwards toward the orc forces. Adar enters, and the orcs kill people until they hand over the blade. When they threaten Bronwyn, Theo shows them the blade. Fortunately for them, the Numenor army storm the village, decimating the orcs. So there's this really cool shot where there's the a horde of orcs coming, and two horse riders pull out a chain, and they don't decapitate, but they take out so many orcs with the chain, like snapping at their necks and knocking them all over. It was a really cool shot. Galadriel and Halbrand chase after an escaping Adar and capture him. Galadriel questions Adar, who says Sauron is dead, which she doesn't believe. Adar seems to not like Sauron, so I'm not too sure if he's... Obviously they're in the same army, but the way it sounds like Adar sees the orcs more like a big family, and Sauron treated them like objects to be used, and I don't think Adar liked him too much for that, and I don't think they're on completely friendly terms, so I'm not too sure what the overall plan is between the forces of evil. Galadriel and Halbrand seem to grow closer, so throughout this whole battle they seem to have got some peace, or they seem to be seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, and they want to capture that, and they seem to both get closer to their happiness or something like that. The villagers celebrate the return of King Halbrand. So Halbrand is very like, oh, should I really become the king? But everyone looks to him, and he kind of accepts the role he's been given. It's revealed Waldreg stole the blade, and it seems Adar gave it to him just before the battle happened, and activated a mechanism at the watchtower that opened the dam. The water goes through all the orc tunnels to the nearby volcano and creates a massive eruption, killing many in the village and decimating the land. So this looks like it's going to be the first step in creating Mordor, and I don't know if this mountain or volcano is Mount Doom, but it's a good contender for it. So this was a crazy episode in comparison to the first batch of episodes, because a lot of the first 5 were very much set up and introducing characters, and it was a very slow build. But now we're getting into the action of the series. The stories are starting to intertwine, and hopefully we're going to have a good balance of story and battle scenes as well, because the first 5 episodes was very story based, this was very battle based, and hopefully got a good balance. So what I've been waiting for with the stories and characters converging is awesome. So we've got Arondir, we've got Galadriel, we've got Halbrand, we've got all the villagers, we've got the Numenors. They're all coming together now to bring their stories to a culmination, which is great. I love seeing these parts of one story become one. It's so awesome. Arondir and the villagers had a good plan, but were outsmarted in the end. So they took a load of them out with the watchtower, and then they pulled them into the village into a trap and took them out, but they were outsmarted, and basically Adar used the human followers as scapegoats and then had the orcs come in a second wave and just decimate the humans. They had a good plan, but they got outdone. They were definitely very lucky that the Numenor army appeared though, because it looked like once he got that blade he was going to kill everyone in that village, but they got lucky that time and Numenor saved them. The battle was awesome between the orcs and the soldiers. I loved having the orcs just running out in the street and then the Numenor soldiers flying through on their horses and taking everyone out. The horse action sets were great with the horses jumping over people. The sword fighting was great. I loved it because it's the first big proper action set piece we've had in this show, and I think it lived up mostly to what I was looking for. Adar is crafty, smart and brutal, and I think he uses all of his abilities to the best he can. So he's crafty, setting people up, attacking other humans. He's smart because he gave Waldrig that blade to go and do the task while it seemed they captured him and the blade. He let someone else go do it. And he's brutal because he was just outright killing the humans until they gave him the blade. So he doesn't give a monkeys. He will take out anyone to finish his task. The volcano eruption was a huge surprise. I didn't expect that because I thought the tunnels were simply for the orcs to travel around. But no, they actually made a pathway all the way to the mountain, and that was their original plan, to create a huge eruption and blacken the sky, which makes sense now because that would do it. They've done it. They've done their plan now. So basically the humans are done for if they don't escape this area, because Mordor is almost like death to humans because of the ash and the poison in the sky. So it's going to get a lot worse before it gets any better. Galadriel and Arondir kick ass there because they're elves. They've got a lot more gymnastics and a lot more flexibility to their battle and movements. So whenever they fight, it's awesome to watch, and they're always kicking ass and jumping about, leaning off horses. It's so cool to watch. I'm very skeptical of Sauron being actually dead because Adar says he killed him, but we obviously know he's not dead. But we don't know where he is. We don't know who he is at this point. He could be anyone. So I'm looking forward to that mystery being revealed. Even though I think this episode was possibly the best, it was a bummer not to see Nori the Stranger or Dorin and Elrond. Because obviously I love Dorin and Elrond's relationship, and the mystery behind the Stranger is obviously very exciting to see what happens. But I think overall, this episode was good because it focused on this two sets of groups converging. Even though we didn't get to see the rest of the characters, I think it was good that we focused on this battle and this conjoining of two stories. I had a great time with this episode. If you've hung around these first 5 and now you're on this 6th, this will definitely be somewhat of a payoff. So I'm looking forward to whatever the story brings next. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this episode. If you like the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to keep up to date with all future episodes. And until next time, I will see you all later.